Hi. So today I'm going to take a look at my 2002 Pontiac Sunfire, and I recently had the radio changed out from the original GM installed radio to another brand that I got. I had it installed, and part of the problem with this model year is that GM started using a different type of control system. So there's no good way to give power to your new radio unless you use a very expensive wire harness. And the harness that the radio place wanted to put in this one was like $150. I'm like, no way, $150. All I need is power. Just give me some 12 volts. Well, now that I have it in there, what I found is that when I use the lights switch in my car, it used to give me a ding 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 noise when I turned off the car and I was getting out and I left my lights on, but that requires the radio to be powered on. So in order to get around this wire harness problem, they installed the radio to the power accessory on my key. So when I turn the keys off, the radio goes off. Guess what? Radio's off, I don't get my ding 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 sound. And it's a risky proposition to leave the lights on and end up killing the battery of the vehicle. So I'm trying to find a quick workaround. I don't really know what I'm going to do here completely. I'm just going to try and come up with a creative way to help me remember that my lights are on and not have to spend a whole bunch of money on a wire harness. So we'll see if this thing works, and this gets posted, and I guess it did. And I hope you enjoy watching it, and it's helpful to you. Save yourself some money if you have to find yourself in the same situation. So I stuck my voltmeter in here to see what was going on, and what was going on was a lot of crazy voltages, and I wasn't exactly sure where things were going with it. So I looked at a wiring diagram I found online, and it looks like all the wiring for that goes through control module. So I'm abandoning my approach on the fuse, but what I got here now is I pulled the headlamp, the lamp out for the fog lamp down here, and that comes on when I've got the daytime, or when I have the switch in the parking light mode. So when you look at your switch here, you see that's off, right? And then the first spot up is parking lamp, and that's headlamp. So in parking lamp mode, which is a potential situation for me to leave the parking lamps on, right? I've got a light here. So I did some testing, and I used this resistor here. It's just a variable resistor. I marked it. It goes up to 10,000 at its highest, 10,000 ohms resistance, and I plugged this into my breadboard, and then I connected my LED strip to the socket in parallel with that light, and then I dialed it all the way up to the highest end resistance at 10,000. And I didn't get much light out of my LED, so I just kept dialing it back till I got to a brightness for this that I liked. Then I measured it using my multimeter. I just went in there and I measured that resistance that was here after I got done dialing it back, and the light was at the intensity that I liked, and I measured it, and it was 360 ohms. So I went down to the basement and I got myself a couple of fixed resistors here that add up to 360 ohms resistance. And now I've got a lead going in here with the light. You can see the light's on. And then I've got my resistance. So I'm pulling out of here with the positive and come across here. I go through my resistors, and then I'm going to come down into my light. And actually I'm bypassing my resistors. It's not good. I saw I had a wiring diagram flaw. I wasn't going through my resistors, I was actually going around my resistors. If you noticed how I had it before, I had it connected here and over here, and my resistors were in parallel Anyway, it still worked. I was afraid if I went full straight voltage here without any resistors, I would, blow the current through this thing and just burn it up, but apparently not. So what I've got now is that the wire comes here, goes through the resistors, then it goes through the lights, comes out and goes to ground. So then when I take this to ground, you see, boom, boom, I get light. And what I found was that if I went, I take this and let's say I bypass. Now, let's get that. Now I'm skipping over those resistors, right? I'm going right from here down, which goes into my leads for my light, comes back out and back up into ground. They just get, it's just really bright now, but it's not enough to blow them out, right? But I'm drawing more current through the lights, and so they're brighter. That's the difference. So I got lucky on that one. It's always good to be lucky. Rather be lucky than good any day. Anyway, I'm going to see how if I can figure out how to wire this through now and keep everything dry. Then I'll get my light on. So here's my Pontiac that I'm going to work on today. And I went to the auto store and I found this this contraption there. They got all sorts of cool LED lights. I don't know, maybe you've seen some in some vehicles right around your area, but I found this little strip of LED lights. It comes with a little battery and a switch, and of course it doesn't want to work for me there, but it's got this light blue light strip, and what I'm thinking I can do is somehow tap that LED strip. I push this button here, I tap that LED strip into my headlamp wiring, so I know that when my headlamps are on, it will come on, and then when it's turned on, I'll know that my, even though I turned the vehicle off and the headlamps are still on, the light will still stay on. I should be able to see it. So I'm thinking I can put it like somewhere up here in the dash, somewhere in there, and if I see those lights, I should remember, right? So that's the plan. Anyway, I got to find out where I can tap this in. I think there's a fuse box on the door side of the IP, the instrument panel there, and I'm going to look through those fuses and see if there's something there I can tap into. So I'm not sure which of these wires is which. On the back of this casing here, it's got A, B, and G. I'm assuming G is ground. A and B must be one for the on light all the time, and the other one's for the blinker. I suspect that this one here was the one in the middle was on all the time, so I cut the insulation back a little bit on each one of those, and then used my multimeter here to test for voltage, and that's what I found. I found that this middle wire, which is B, is 12 volts to ground all the time, and then A only functions with the blinker, and it cycles back and forth really quick. So my multimeter was measuring like 6-7 volts, and then 3, and then 5, and it just depends on the timing and when it caught the voltage changing. So these are the two wires here I'm going to try and work with to turn my LEDs on, so that when there's 12 volts across here, I want to have my LEDs on, and then I'll know that I've left the lights on. So I'm going to try putting the LEDs on there and see if it works. Inside this headlamp over here and see what's going on in the wiring behind it. In order to get behind that lamp, what you have to do is take this cover off here, and this cover is held in place by several pins. They're just plastic pins here. So I'm just going to use these pliers here to remove the pins. What you do is you kind of clamp down on the, if you can see that, I'm putting my own shadow there, right? There we go. So you just kind of clamp down on that pin and pull it up. And sometimes they come all the way out. That's okay. Sometimes they only come halfway up, but the whole pin comes out. And there's 6 of these pins in here, I think. I've already taken out all the others, and once you get those all out, then the whole cover just lifts off here. It's no big deal, and it pulls out. So I'm just going to set that to the side over here with my other pins. And then to get the headlamp the rest of the way out, it's just these two screws here. You take these two out, they're 1/2 inch. So I got my 1/2 inch drive, and I got a 1/2 inch socket on there. I'm going to take those out, and then the whole headlamp just pops right on out of there, and we can see all the wiring behind it. So I've got my LEDs here, and what I did was I clamped down the negative side of the LED leads to the ground, and now I've got the positive side over here. I'm just going to make contact with that and see if the LEDs come on. And what do I got there? There we go. Got LED action. So that must be what I need right there. So I'm going to go ahead and try and wire a longer wire to this, and then connect the LEDs again, make sure the lights still come on. I've already checked the resistance across the long wire that I have, and it's not very much, so it should work fine. And then I got to figure out how to route the wire back into the cabin. This is the door, right? And every door has wiring harnesses that need to go into the cabin. So there's this rubber seal here that the wires go through the door, and that keeps all the moisture and dirt and carbon monoxide out. Carbon monoxide is a problem, right? So I'm going to see if I can't maybe make a small slit in the rubber here underneath, feed the wire through here, and then coming around inside of here, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there we go. Right in here. See that little star looking thing? On the other side of that is that wire harness, and I can probably pull it through there and up through here, and then I can get into here and figure out where I'm going to put my LEDs in a good visible spot. But that way, if I come up from underneath to the bottom here, any kind of water that's running down will run out. If I keep this slit nice and small, I won't create an opportunity for moisture or dirt to get in there, and I can clamp it down on the wire really tight. And so from this point here, right, I got all this open cavity up here, and then it goes into the fender there, which is an open ride all the way to the front end of the vehicle. So I can come along underneath the fender rail here, and bingo, pop out down here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so I was able to cut through this rubber seal using a little blade like this, right? This is a little project knife. And I took this and I kind of jabbed it up through here towards the bottom, that I could see, and I made a little hole in that rubber. Then, I tried sticking my finger through there, but through the inside of here, but it's too far. So I got a piece of scrap wire, and I kind of made a little snake, a wire snake out of this. So I stuck in through here. You can see there's the wire here going through on this side, sticking out over here, right? And now I'm just going to take the wire that I've fished all the way through here. I'm going to tape it to that and pull it through, and get it through that opening. And now I'm into the cabin. Oh, I'm getting there, getting close. But the trick here was using this piece of scrap wire, which is just off of a standard house wiring spool of wire I had laying around. I only used about 6 inches of it. It's going to work out really good. Well, I finally got it through. It took a lot of work. But you see I got my wire in here now, and I got it started up into that. It's a good thing it's tight. So I'm just going to pull it through here a little bit at a time. Make sure I don't lose that seal that I have around here, around this edge, the bottom. Make sure you don't lose that. You don't want this whole thing to get sucked in. So just take your time with it. Pull it through. And now you're going to have a nice, tight, watertight, dust-tight water, seal around this wire. And that's how we cheat, Sometimes you just gotta be creative to find a solution to these problems. And that's what this is all about here. Just trying to solve this problem as I go, not really worried about whether or not I can get there. I just, when I bump into a hard spot, I just, turn another path. That's all. And you can get there. You just gotta keep trying. I'm gonna leave that wire loose in there so they can move around freely. I'm going to try and get it routed back behind this drop off here so it doesn't get hung up on anything. And now that should be good. So I got a big pile of wire here. I can figure out how to route to the LED that I want to display and keep everything tucked up and nice and neat out of the way. Looking good. So now I'm going to attach these wires here. I got this wire fished around here. And my, whoa, come back, gravity. I've stripped off the bare, my ground wire here using that utility knife there, just being really careful not to cut the wires. And then I saw this trick someone else came up with. It's not something I've come up with. But now I'm going to use my razor here really gently to separate the wires. You know, I don't want to cut any of those wires. I just want to separate them, split them in half, kind of. And this is really hard to do with one hand holding the camera. So I'm going to turn the camera off, and I'm going to basically split these wires in half here, spread them out. If the thing would focus on it, all right? Spread them out. So I've got a gap here. Take the other wire, lead it through that gap, and then I can twist them together, and then tape it up, and have a real good bond right in there. Let's show you what that looks like once I get done, I guess. Alright, so I did my little twist technique that I learned from somebody else. Again, I didn't make that up. And I just got them all twisted up inside there, and now I can wrap that all up with some electrical tape, get it nice and tight, put everything back into the hose here, and we're getting really close. I also found this nifty thing, that little razor I was working with. This is the holder for the prop rod, right? Well, hey, it holds a knife there pretty good. It's a good thing to secure so you don't drop it on yourself. Something else I learned, this little opening down here, which goes between the impact bar and the front rail, is just big enough for the light bulb to fit through and get down in there. But guess what? It's really difficult to get your fingers in there and fish it out. Learn that one the hard way. But that's what happens when you do these projects, is you just learn stuff along the way that you didn't anticipate learning. But there's a tip for you. Don't drop the bulb down there. It's hard to get out. Alright, so I got everything taped up there now. Nice and clean. I got a little extra wire in here. I'm going to have to figure out how to route that up and get it tucked up nice and nice so it doesn't drag on the ground or anything. And then, but before I put it all back together, I'm going to make sure it works. I'm going to do the inside the cabin there first and get the light attached before I button us all up. Alright, so I've decided I'm going to put the LEDs across the top of this opening here, and then the light should kind of drop down and create a cool blue glow in here. And I also see there's a little bit of a gap right here between the plastic lens and the trim panel. It might not be coming out too good in this video here, but right here, so I figure I can bring the lights down around and put the wire through there. And there's also this nice hard plastic piece inside here, as opposed to this softer piece, and I think that's what I'm going to stick it to. Come around the top of that, and hopefully give me a cool light effect, as well as remind me, duh, your lights are on. So I was gonna what I plan to do is this LED thing is so long. I'm just going to cut a little bit of the backing away and expose the sticky tape here in the middle, and I'll apply that first in the middle, and then I know that my lights will be centered across this opening, and I'll peel the backing off the rest of it and just kind of stick it on there. Fish the wire down through, and we're getting really close. Okay, so I got my LED strip stuck up in there. Right, I had to peel the backing off. I got it. It's nice and even. I got one of those guys. I got to have it be at least really close to being symmetrical. Here's my wire. It goes down back behind here, and then it's hanging out down here right now. I'm going to route this better. But I made a quick connection down here to check the lights and see what they look like. So here we go. Oh baby, look at that. Here's a better angle here. Lights are on. Looking cool. Got a little reflection going on there, but I think I can deal with that. It's got a nice blue cool glow. The dots look great. Man, I think it looks awesome. Alright, just got to clean up this wiring and man, I'm done. Right, so I got the car running. Lights are off. My surface light's on, my headlamp's out. Boom! Oh yeah. You know what, in the video it looks a lot brighter in here than it really does in a person. Not too bright at all. I can see all the gauges fine, no problem. I get a little bit of a glare up in this area here. You can see a little reflection going on, but that's really no big deal. I think it's cool. Turn my lights off, I'm happy. So, it's working. Hey, so that's the end of this video on how to put this thing in. You know, it's just another one of those things. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was going to try some stuff, and it worked out pretty good. Was able to get that LED in there to function. I didn't have to pay for that expensive cable to go in there, and I learned a little bit about the vehicle. Had some fun. I hope you had some fun too. You might have noticed I got my hair cut since I started this video. It took me a little bit longer. You know, sometimes you only get an hour here or an hour there, and you don't get all the time you need to work on this kind of stuff. So it took me about a week to get through this with about a half hour here and an hour there. And again, just, you know, if you get into something like this, just keep trying. You know, don't give up on anything. Just keep trying. You can get there. And hopefully, you know, I've recorded a couple more things I'm going along. If you enjoy this and you want to watch more, maybe I can come up with another project that you're working on, or you can post something here for an idea. Anyway, I hope you have a great day, and I just want to encourage you. You can do it. Just try. Just get out there and do it. All right. Thanks.